Chapter 4. A punching entry. The aerial view of Lanka was picturesque. Surrounded, from all directions, by beautiful beaches, lush green forests, the devil's abode was a heavenly sight. Hanuman marveled at the topography of Lanka. Beyond the beaches, there was a mountainous forest. Within the forest was installed a huge golden wall that safeguarded the city of Lanka from all kinds of attacks and intrusions. Landing on a mountaintop, Hanuman patiently waited for nightfall in order to plan his first move. A cat stealthily walked up to the golden gate of the golden city. The cat was careful not to meow. Looking around, it made a dash towards the gate at the opportune moment while the stationed guards crossed each other. Managing to jump between the bars, the cat entered the golden city of Lanka. So much for stringent security. "Who are you?" a voice roared while a huge javelin was thrust blocking the cat's onward movement. The cat was taken aback. This was least expected, especially after having crossed the front gate without much trouble. Looking up, he saw a pair of dangerous-looking red eyes staring at him in anger. Now, there was no point in hiding his true form. Surprised at the cat transforming into a powerful-looking monkey prince, she spoke, "I am Lankini, the goddess of Lanka. No one enters Lanka without my sanction and King Ravana's permission. Since you dared the impossible, you have to face the consequences." She quickly delivered a swift slap on Hanuman's face. No one had hit him this way. Outraged at being attacked like this, he roared and clenched his right fist. He hurled a blow that sent her reeling in pain. She fell at a distance with a thud, remaining immobile for a while. When she got up, she had tears in her eyes and her countenance had completely changed. She wasn't the wild demoness anymore and had taken on the role of a helpless victim. With folded hands, she came in front of Hanuman and kneeled before him in supplication. She said, "Long back, Lord Brahma had told me, the day a monkey punches me, it would mark the beginning of the end of Lanka. Now, I know for sure that Ravana will soon be history. I bless you and may you achieve success in your mission. Lord Rama shall be victorious." Hanuman's punch had always triggered devastation. For the first time, he was surprised to witness a transformation in a demoness. He was happy to punch more if such were the results. The gates of Lanka had opened for him with a punch. Could he open the gates of his luck with a punch as well? He needed luck by his side to find Mother Sita in such a huge and heavily guarded empire. Wisdom is the art of delivering the right punch line to transform ignorance into mindfulness. Is this Sita? A stroll through Lanka had been nothing less than a stroll through the heavens. Every corner of the land was exquisite. The palaces were simmering with golden bricks used abundantly studded with gems of various colors and types. Landscaped gardens were strewn across the city adding charm to the magnificent architecture. Music added flavor to the different varieties of entertainment theme parks that dotted the city. The most beautiful building of all was Ravana's residential palace that was carved out of pure gold. Paradise would be an understatement to capture the essence of what the palace represented in one word. With the hope of finding Mother Sita, Hanuman, assuming a tiny form, cautiously moved around the inner chambers of Ravana's palace. He was surprised to see the number of women that were strolling around the inner bedroom chambers of Ravana in a drunken state. Most of them were scantily clothed. When he peeked into the innermost section of the gigantic chamber, he gasped. There, on an enormous bed, was lying Dasanana, the majestic king of Lanka. The first look at Ravana brought out mixed emotions in Hanuman's heart. He was awestruck at Ravana's grandeur. Blessed with extremely handsome looks, a perfectly chiseled body, complemented with an enviable intelligence, Ravana deserved appreciation. But, all that Hanuman could feel for him was disgust at his lack of virtues. Leaving Ravana aside, Hanuman began to gaze around trying to spot Mother Sita. Suddenly, his eyes fell on a woman who was lying on Ravana's splendid bed. Looking at her beauty, Hanuman felt this must be Mother Sita. Her features resembled the description Lord Rama shared with him. He felt overjoyed for having accomplished his mission. But, then, something didn't seem right. How could Mother Sita be on Ravana's bed? He began to analyze to ascertain the truth. He saw her mumbling something in her sleep. When he heard carefully, he could hear her speaking a lot of inauspicious things. This couldn't be Mother Sita. The only words that could possibly come out of Mother Sita's mouth were the names of Lord Rama and the auspicious glorification of the Lords. Qualities. Moreover, Mother Sita would never be able to eat or sleep peacefully without Lord Rama's presence in her life. Why would she decorate herself for another male, thought Hanuman. This, definitely, couldn't be Mother Sita. Then, he saw two things that reconfirmed his suspicion. There was no auspicious Padma line, a special mark, on the sole of her feet, and there was no marking of a lotus flower on her toe. These were supposed to be the emblems on the body of the goddess of fortune, Mother Sita. Further, Hanuman also noted that the vermilion from her forehead had been rubbed off, indicating her husband wouldn't live for long. This couldn't be Mother Sita, but had to be Mandodari, the chief queen of Ravana. Concluding thus, he began to observe the other thousands of women who lay in Ravana's harem. Suddenly, an uncomfortable thought struck him. What was he doing staring at semi-nude women in someone else's bedroom? Wasn't he supposed to be a celibate who was to abstain from even looking at women? Hanuman reflected on the purpose of his visit. The motive determines whether an act is virtuous or sinful. If he had to find Mother Sita, he had to look around carefully. For the success of any mission, there has to be some austerity practiced. In his mission, looking at women was the austerity he had to tolerate. As long as he was not looking at them with the desire of enjoying them, he wasn't violating any principle. Once this was clear in his mind, Hanuman continued his search. Soon, he realized that none of them were Mother Sita. Mother Sita was as powerful as fire and couldn't be kept subdued for long. Ravana had to keep her far away from his valuable possessions. The question was, where? Determination is born out of desperation. Resignation is born out of complacency. The dead end. Every corner of Lanka had been explored. Every palace had been checked. Every street had been scanned. Every secret hideout had been investigated. Still, there was no sign of the divine lady. Hanuman was at his wit's end. He had no idea where Mother Sita was and had no clue how to proceed. Worry began to overpower his calm mind. He began to consider the most extreme possibilities. Could Ravana have devoured her, knowing she wouldn't submit to him? Could she have fallen into the ocean in transit? Could it be that she gave up her life after months of separation from Lord Rama? Hanuman felt dispirited. He shrunk into a dark corner of Lanka. Horrible images of the consequences of his failure began to flash on the screen of his disturbed mind. Thousands of monkeys were awaiting his successful return. The first trace of news of his failure in Lanka would lead to their tragic death. The fatal end of his army would cause Sugriva to give up his life, knowing he had failed to keep his promise to Lord Rama. Upon Sugriva's death, Lord Rama would not be able to live after losing all hope of finding Sita. With Lord Rama's demise, Lakshmana would not survive a minute longer. Ayodhya would turn into a crematorium. Imagining mass annihilation as an outcome of his failure, Hanuman felt there was no point in pulling on the agony. A despondent Hanuman wanted to end his life. Seeing a dead end in every direction, Hanuman decided to take complete solace in Lord Rama's holy names. As he began chanting Lord Rama's names fervently, something interesting happened. Chandra, the moon, till then, hidden behind a set of clouds, peeped out. It seemed as if Chandra was interested in knowing who was chanting the names of Lord Rama. Chandra's rays revealed something that excited Hanuman. Down below was a valley that was completely hidden from the world. Though he had searched all of Lanka, he had completely missed this spot. As he glanced in that direction, he realized this was the most beautiful area in Lanka. This had to be the place where Ravana had held Mother Sita captive. He ran in that direction with great enthusiasm and newly found hope. As he ran, a realization dawned in his mind. A dead end actually ends the illusion that you are in control of your goal and forces you to take shelter in higher powers that shine brilliantly and are eager to give you a definite direction. Prayer is a torchlight that shows you hidden possibilities in the dark environment of your despondent mind. Mother Sita found. Today, he realized the meaning of gold-covered dust. Under the Ashoka tree shone a brilliant streak of golden light covered by forest dust. Quickly recollecting the description given to him by Lord Rama, he deciphered that this had to be Mother Sita that millions of monkeys were searching for across the globe. Draped in a single cloth, her body appeared emaciated with months of fasting, and her face had moistened with rivers of tears running down her cheeks. This goddess was an epitome of virtue and chastity. Surrounding this innocent lady were hundreds of vicious-looking, one-eyed and one-eared demonesses. On counting closely, Hanuman realized they were 700 in total. This was an age-old trick that demons adopted to break their tough captives into submission, surround them with ugly, fierce-looking monsters and constantly harass them with abusive words and threatening actions. The human mind naturally cannot handle so much negativity. Sita wasn't any ordinary human, obviously, and her determination had not faltered even a bit. But Hanuman realized that she was definitely on the verge of breaking down due to constant torture and abuse. Just then, a series of drumbeats woke up everyone. Suddenly, U.S.A was bustling with action. Hanuman hid himself in the foliage of the tall tree he was seated on. Announcements were made heralding the arrival of the king of Lanka. Basking under the brilliant morning sun, Ravana walked in majestically, accompanied by an entourage carrying hundreds of golden plates covered with silken cloth. There was an air of enthusiasm and excitement around Ravana. He almost appeared like a smitten youth walking up to propose to the girl he'd given his heart to. "O Sita, please accept these exquisite gifts that I have procured for your pleasure. No one in this world will be able to offer you valuables like these. I have even got the finest cuisines to enliven your taste buds. I only request you to accept me as your master. Forget that aimless wanderer Rama. He has nothing to offer you anymore. You know very well that Rama won't even be able to find you, let alone rescue you. Submit to me and enjoy the pleasures of life. Don't let your precious youth go waste." Ravana was commanding and begging her at the same time. Suddenly, Sita's face became taut. She was no more the vulnerable, soft lady who was on the verge of breaking down. Determination sparkled vividly on her face now. Hanuman was impressed with this instant change. Even from a distance, he could clearly make out the contours of her face changing from helplessness to disgust. She shouted at Ravana in a manner that seemingly shocked the meek loyal servants of the emperor. "These petty gifts cannot impress me, O Ravana. Being conquered by Lord Rama's personality, I cannot be tempted with anything else in this world. Like sunlight is inseparable from the sun, Mother Sita is inseparable from Lord Rama. Despite so many months of constant torment that you have subjected me to, I still give you a chance. Return me to Lord Rama now and I will ensure that you are not burnt by his wrath. If you want to save yourself and your illusory realm, this is the only chance." Ravana was furious with Sita's attitude. She hadn't budged an inch even after months of being in captivity. In sheer frustration, with the back of his hands, he hit 2 golden plates that contained the costly gifts he had got for her. The pandemonium created by the fall of the golden plates and their contents echoed in the valley of U.S.A. Hanuman could see that Ravana's associates were trembling and their legs were quivering. Sita was as composed as ever. In fact, there was renewed strength in her resolve. She stared at him, challengingly. By this time, he had clenched his fist and was advancing towards her menacingly. Just in time, Mandodari rushed forward and stalled him by telling him that hitting a woman would show him in poor light in front of his subjects. Ravana, finding merit in her statement, stepped back, but warned Sita with heavy words. He said he would wait for a month more and if she didn't submit to his will, he would chop her up and eat her for breakfast. With Ravana's exit, U.S.A buzzed with whispers. The demonesses were whispering animatedly, amongst themselves, in small groups while looking at Sita in disgust. Sita shrank into her shell again. Gone was the strong persona that she had portrayed a few moments back. Hanuman realized that he had to approach her soon. There were 2 problems in doing that. One was the demonesses guarding her wouldn't allow that to happen. The second one was more critical. Mother Sita wouldn't recognize him if he landed in front of her. She would even conclude that he was a henchman of Ravana in disguise. She could ignore him or worse, scream in panic, driving the guards of U.S.A into action. He decided to wait patiently for the right opportunity. As the sun set that day, Hanuman stealthily approached the tree under which Sita was seated. Being careful not to catch the attention of the guards or the demonesses, Hanuman managed to reach his destination and began to consider his strategy. By this time, the entire U.S.A had come to a standstill and every member around that area was fast asleep. A few guards were pacing back and forth, patrolling the garden entrances. Just then, some movement below caught his attention. When Hanuman glanced below, he was shocked to see what Sita was doing. She had tied her long hair to a tree branch and was looping it around her neck in an attempt to end her life. He began to panic considering her predicament. He didn't want to act in haste. That could push Sita to give up immediately and strangulate herself. Neither did he want to do something drastic that would make her scream in surprise and alert everyone. As he silently prayed for wisdom, he had a brilliant idea on how to handle the situation. In a quiet, but clearly audible voice, he began to narrate the story of Lord Rama. In a poetic manner, he sang the story of Lord Rama right from his birth, banishment, exile in the forest to Sita's abduction. He described Lord Rama's efforts to find Sita and how Hanuman was now here with the message of her beloved. As soon as the narration began, Hanuman could see Sita slowly relaxing. By the time he ended, she had taken off the noose and was seated on the floor, below the tree, crying tears of joy. He now leapt and landed right in front of her, assuming a miniature form. Introducing himself as Lord Rama's servant, he inquired about her welfare. Sita connected with the voice of Hanuman. When he landed in front of her, his appearance hadn't mattered. All that mattered was that he was a well-wisher and a follower of Lord Rama. She became peaceful and was completely at ease in front of a total stranger. Understanding well this person's intimate connection with Lord Rama, but, to be sure he was an emissary of Lord Rama, she decided to test Hanuman by asking him to describe Lord Rama's appearance in detail. With great joy, Hanuman began, "Lord Rama's beauty is inexplicable. He has a beautiful greenish-golden complexion and his eyes resemble lotus petals. He has broad shoulders, mighty arms and a deep voice. He is reddish in 4 places: his eyes, his nails and palms, and the sole of his feet. He walks in 4 different gaits akin to a lion, a tiger, an elephant and a bull. He has 8 elongated, shapely body parts: arms, fingers and toes, eyes, ears, nose, backbone and trunk. 10 appendages on Lord Rama's body represent a lotus: his skin, mouth, eyes, tongue, lips, palate, chest, nails, hands and feet." Realizing that Mother Sita needed substantial proof to trust anyone in the magical, illusory kingdom of Lanka, Hanuman produced the signet ring that Lord Rama had given him. Holding the ring carefully between his palms, he extended his hands towards Mother Sita. Glancing at that ring brought a flood of tears in her eyes. Picking up the ring that had touched the delicate fingers of Lord Rama for so long, Sita became overwhelmed. Now, more than any other time in the last few months, she felt intense separation from her beloved. Lord Rama was so close to her now, yet so far. Sita kept glancing at the ring with love, crying and smiling at the same time. Occasionally, she would look at Hanuman with eyes filled with gratitude for this service. If Hanuman had to place the ring in her hands, it would subtly indicate that he is superior to her. But, by allowing her to pick up the ring from his palms, he clearly indicated that he is inferior to her. Subtleness in behavior is indicative of depth of sensitivity. Hanuman instantly decided that he would end the misery of Mother Sita by taking her along with him to Lord Rama's shelter. He said, "My dear mother, kindly come with me. Sit on my back and I will take you to Lord Rama immediately. All your miseries will end in a few minutes." The words of Hanuman took Sita by surprise. Seeing her reaction, Hanuman understood the confusion in her mind. How could a tiny-sized monkey claim to carry her? Expanding himself into a giant size, he kneeled down with folded hands. Sita's jaw dropped when she saw that the tiny monkey had become much bigger than the tree she was sitting under. In the next instant, he again shrunk himself, resumed his normal size and stood in front of her, awaiting her decision. She made many excuses why she couldn't come along with him and he countered each one of them. Finally, she explained the real reason for her refusal and that impressed Hanuman. She explained that if she had to travel with him, the world would feel that her husband was incapable of saving her. A demon brought her to Lanka and a monkey brought her back. People would naturally ask, what role did the husband play in her rescue? Realizing that Mother Sita wanted the glory of her rescue to only go to her husband, Lord Rama, Hanuman decided to not pursue this matter. Then Sita asked Hanuman the question that had been nagging her for the last few months. How was Rama? How was he faring without her? Hanuman understood Mother Sita's purpose of asking this question. He said, "The beauty of Lord Rama that I had described to you was true, but that was all before your abduction. From the time you have gone missing from his life, he has become emaciated due to his separation from you. In fact, Lord Rama has grown so thin now, that the signet ring I just gave you would fit his wrist like a bracelet." Sita felt united with Lord Rama in their shared pain of separation. Interestingly, both Hanuman and Sita had evaluated each other before accepting the other as genuine. Though both were in a state of desperation, they did not take the risk of blindly believing the other. The greatest blunders are made while celebrating proximity to success. Chapter 5 will be coming soon.